Gray is a really enthusiastic young 3-year-old. He loves to play. He's really hyper. He's just that type of kid that attracts people to him.
He's just a typical 3-4-year-old. Curious, just playful, but he's deaf, so he doesn't understand a lot of things. When he originally born, with several different things, he had an esophagus that was not fully developed, so we had to get that attached. He had hydrocephalus, which was fluid on his brain. He had a hole in his heart, and so it was just, that first year was just, we were in the NICU unit in intensive care. Well, when we got out, they do a head-to-toe examination to make sure everything's okay with the baby. We come to find out that he was what they call profound deaf. So we were on track to get a cochlear implant. So we knew, we thought back then that we could fix it because they have cochlear implants. In the process of being candidates for the cochlear implant, they have to do an MRI to make sure that the ear has all working parts, and in the brain it had all working parts. And in that process, this is a year later, we found out that he's missing that 8th cranial nerve on both sides.
You know, for him to be born with this condition, at first it's shocking to you as a parent to know that your child would never hear you say anything. And then it hits you later on that your child would not only never hear you say anything, but you would never hear your child say anything to you. Because when we all have kids, you already have, like, as parents, when we have our child, you have a child, you somehow, you're looking into the future already. As a father, you're thinking about, oh, he's going to play Little League football, he's going to do this, I'm going to start coaching again. And then when you hear things like this, it's like, oh man, we're not going to do that. And so it kind of changes your life. But that's your child, and you just focus on making his life as comfortable as you can for him.
It's rare. It's very rare, and that's why we're having to raise funds for it. That a person is born without that nerve. That nerve takes the sound, it receives the sound, it takes it to the brain. So adults, it's approved if he was 18 or older, because adults can develop what they call tumors on that particular nerve. But it's very rare that a person is just born without it completely on both sides. So this is why we're having to raise funds for it, and that's why it's not approved for kids under 18.
God can heal. God can heal. Oh, yes. He can heal. And he can mend the broken. He can mend your brokenness.
We got the call from the physicians in Italy at the last minute. And they were ready to go full steam ahead. And the reason why is because they believe, and I think we all will agree, that up until age 5 or 6 is when kids absorb a lot of information. So the doctors over there feel like that's an important time period.
And we met with Bonetta Flowers, the Olympic bobsled winner. We met up with her audiologist, and she told us that her son had this exact same problem. And that's how we found this doctor in Italy.
Churches, they've reached out to us and said, hey, how can we help Gray get this procedure done? And so it's been a blessing, and it's been overwhelming.
It's frustrating, but it's the path this is what we've been dealt with, so we've got to deal with this.
It's all about how you look at the picture. It's all about how you look at the glass. Is it half empty or is it half full? We look at Gray as nothing is wrong with Gray. We always say, okay, what do we have to do next? We're reaching out to the church families, to 6th Avenue, and ask to assist and help us in any way that you possibly can.
We're concentrating on his hearing, but my thing is I want to give Gray the best chance he have at life. You know, and this is, even though the fee is huge, but this is something that it helps his speech, it helps his learning, his balance is off because of that brain, because of that nerve. But this will give him the best chance he have at life, you know. So me doing all this is nothing compared to him when he's 18 years old and walking across the stage at a regular school and saying my name. That's what keeps me going, is that because I feel like if I would have let this go, I didn't do everything. And when I leave this earth, I want him to know that I did everything for him.
Just be blessed. Don't do anything that God would not have you to do. Be blessed. I know it ain't what you want right now, but it sure could be a lot worse. Just be blessed.